Hello, designers. I'm your host, Mr. Gremlin, coming to you live from North High School, and I'm going to do this summative logo branding project for you. Now, first off, we want to make sure that we've done the formative logo sketch. And we're going to take one of our logos here, and we're going to turn it into a nice logo that we can use. And we want to use the vector tools. So I'm kind of zoomed in on my page here, but all your vector tools might be underneath the pen tool or the rectangle tool, but we're going to use the pen, free pen, curvature pen, path select, direct select, rectangle, ellipse, line, parametric shape, and custom shape tools to build our logo. Okay, it seems like there's a lot of things there, but it's actually going to be just fine. So the first thing we want to do is take a picture of whatever logo you're going to build, and then we're going to isolate that. Now, just for some context here, our project, what I did is I made a new project. It's 5 inches by 5 inches with a resolution of 300. So that's a really nice big picture to make this logo. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the logo that I'm trying to make here. I'm going to go to select inverse. So I did a rectangular marquee tool. And it says, oh, this has to be rasterized first. So I'm going to right click on that layer, go to rasterize. Then I'm going to delete. And actually what I should have done first is I probably should have made it bigger. But since I'm going to kind of fix that in a lot of ways, it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to size this up. And when I'm sizing it up, I'm holding Shift so that it scales all together. So edit, transform, scale, and then I hold the Shift button because I wanted to retain this as close to the same ratio as possible because I like that ratio. Okay, so there's some text, there's some triangles, and a lightsaber, of course. All right, and I just want to point out that that lightsaber is amber colored. I took a test. I know that's for me. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is break this down into the basic shapes. I want to start with the background shapes and then work my way forward. So first off, I'm going to make a triangle. So I go to the parametric shape here. Actually, it just might be easier if... So I want to go to the custom shape tool, not the parametric shape tool. Under the custom shape tool, I have a nice kind of equilateral triangle right here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to click, and if I hold Shift, it kind of snaps the ratio of that triangle to be an equilateral. Now I can stretch it out to be whatever kind of triangle I want, but I kind of like that nice equilateral shape. Now with this triangle, if I adjust a couple of things, it's going to be exactly what I need. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the stroke, which is the outline of it, and I'm going to change the width. Let's make that about 36. And then I'm going to change the fill to be a yellow color. All right, that's good enough for that. And I'm going to rotate it. And now my drawing is a little bit wider. And you'll have to make a choice if you want to keep it that wide or, adjust it. Okay, that looks good to me. So I'm going to make another new layer. So the next layer is this lightsaber layer, and I think I can do that using some rounded rectangles. So I'm going to go to my rectangles. I'm going to go to the corner radius here, and I'm going to make this 40. And I'm going to... That actually looks pretty good. But I'm going to take this stroke down. We'll make it about 12. It looks good. And then the fill, I want it to be a nice purplish color. That looks good. And I'm going to do another rectangle. This one, I'm going to put this behind that one. And I think we're going to fill this with black. Now I have some extra lines here about like kind of the power emanating from that. And there might be some different ways to do that. So I was trying to show that it was like kind of shining brightly. But I think if I right click and I go to blending options, I can actually do an outer glow, and we'll make it kind of that amethyst color. And there we go. And click OK. We'll just kind of see what that looks like all together. Might need to change some more things up about that. But for now, that's pretty good. Now let's move on to the text area. So, Nerd Alert. I like this kind of sans serif font. And I'm going to go to Type Tool. And I'm going to look through these different types of font to try and find something that's similar, kind of a wide type of sans serif font like that. Maybe like a Helvetica. Man, if they had Helvetica, that'd be perfect. So I'm going to go through here and find a font. Well, we'll use Helsinki. Alright, and I'm going to type Nerd Alert. And we're going to increase the font size to be about the same. And I'm going to turn off the other parts and turn on this. So this is what we have so far. I'm going to center that there. Now this is pretty good. The things that I don't like so far, the size of the lightsaber in there looks a little awkward. There's so much empty space on the left and right, and then the purple against the yellow kind of looks weird, so I might adjust that. But without doing too much and without having to draw any custom lines, I got a really nice looking, it's very clean, very readable, and I think I'm like 85% of the way there. Now if I wanted to throw in those extra lines for my drawing, I would want to use the pen tool here. And so I'm going to turn the fill off. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to go to the pen tool. I'm going to draw kind of that line, and then I'm going to hold Control, and that's going to be the end of that line. And the stroke, I'm going to have that be that amethyst color. I'm going to make that a little bit thinner, and then there's going to be no fill on that. Now I like this line. And I think what would look best is, rather than trying to draw this again, if I just made a duplicate. So I'm going to go to Layer, duplicate layer. And if I put it on the other side, that doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and then Flip horizontally. There we go. I like that. And that fills in some of the negative space on the left and the right there. I like that. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to go to the pen tool, and I'm going to make, oh, I held Control and click, so that started kind of a new line segment. And I'm going to do kind of a similar one, but just smaller. And then hold Control and click, so that kind of like finishes that line. I'm going to angle it a little bit more, like that. Then I'm going to do Layer, Duplicate Layer, and then Edit, Transform, Flip horizontally. Now this works out nicely because it makes a lot of nice, makes a nice symmetry. And I've used these kind of lightning bolt shapes to fill in some of the negative space. So now it doesn't quite seem quite so empty. And you know, the purple, I could adjust the purple a little bit more, but overall this is really good, and I'm gonna take the win right here. So this is a pretty good logo, and that's a little bit how I went from this picture to this logo here and incorporated those things. And I even have like kind of the white, you know, glowing part behind there. That looks good too. And I'm going to change this shape. Fill that with black. There, that looks pretty nice. And this is all lined up in the center here. This is looking really good. Some of the things that you want to be concerned about when you're going from your rough drawing to your finished logo. First, you want to make sure that you're using all the vector tools. But then secondly, that you're making improvements on your design. So with this design here, the improvements that I'm making is that I'm making the triangle more equilateral, and I'm using symmetry to line things up, and I'm making sure that things are flipped horizontally and angled similarly. There's still maybe a little bit of tweaking that I could do, but gosh, that is such a good improvement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up and just center that. And I'm going to save this image, and then I'll also put it onto some hats and t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that to finish up my presentation.